everyone. Welcome to DnDTime Brews, a relaxing Sunday stream where myself, Jeremy, and my cohort, my compatriot, my boon companion, Pete,
my goon companion,
where we homebrew delightful things, specifically for Pete and Jeremy's D&D. How's everyone doing this evening? Pete, how are you?
You know something, Jeremy? I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about items and just talk about. Oh well, we've already talked about the Entothrope a lot, but it's pretty much ready to go now. So we're just going to kind of go back over what we've added to it and what. There's a couple of small changes I think we made on some of the mechanics as we were reviewing them, particularly with the extra arms.
Indeed.
I'm
Frog, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you're doing better. Frog in chat wasn't doing so great Friday. I'm glad you're doing better now, friend.
Indeed.
But yeah, I'm also pretty excited about tonight. I love these very relaxed kind of. We're just doing some stuff, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be all over the place tonight, talking about some stuff we did before, making some new stuff. Yeah.
How are you, Jeremy? How am I? It's been a hell of a weekend, Pete. I broke my computer, I fixed my computer, and now it's better than ever. So, sometimes you gotta tear things down to build back up better than before. It was all planned. It was definitely planned.
Since it was planned, I guess you timed it very well. You did kind of slide it right in between Pete and Jeremy's D&D time and D&D Time Brews.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't worried if I'd be able to stream this today. Definitely not.
Jeremy, what are you drinking this evening?
Oh, Pete, this evening I'm drinking a delectable mix of Captain Morgan spiced rum and Coke. Specifically tonight, Coke Zero. That's right. I'm being slightly healthier. I'm sorry, less unhealthy.
That's a good way of putting it. How
about you, Pete?
I also see that you have sort of upgraded. You are no longer just a sailor. You've gotten a promotion to a captain.
I'm a captain?
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's true. I'm no longer Sailor Jerry. I'm Captain Morgan.
Full name Jerry.
Fair point.
Full name Jerry Morgan. Yes.
Yeah.
Damn it. So, I'm drinking tonight. This is the Polliner Oktoberfest. It is really good. This is one of my favorite beers, and I happened to run into it because I was not at my usual hometown area, and they had it at a liquor store in Western Massachusetts. So if you're ever there, then maybe you can find Polliner Oktoberfest. It's really great. It's made in Germany.
Pete, I got a question for you. You're aware that it's not October?
I am aware. And
okay, that's cool. I just wanted to make sure.
This is very much on the outside of when you'll be able to find this kind of thing. I doubt if I went there next week, it would still be there. I probably took the final one. But it's really good.
All right. Well, good to hear. I see there's some chatter going on. Hello, Diadems. Hello, Max. Hello, V-Bunny. V-Bunny, man, that'd have to be one hell of a donation. That would have to be like a charity donation incentive to make me dance in yoga pants. Just not gonna happen, bud.
I do it for $5, $6.
Jesus Christ, Pete.
I'm joking. Don't give me any money right now and expect
Pete's
me to
do that. Pete's a low sell. But yes, you know what? Maybe someday, far in the future. That's all I'm gonna. No, Lance.
That's why I said I put a caveat after that. I put a caveat that I was lying.
Pete is what we call a liar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about today. We're gonna talk about the Entothropes. For those who weren't hanging around right before the winter break, we created a cool set of homebrew race options for a very diverse set of creatures. These are kind of humanoid, half human thing, half insect monster hybrids. Kind of like a lycanthrope, but with bugs. So they're an entothrope because they aren't wolves.
Imagining them as a D&D character is pleasant, and you can picture them being kind of cute. But you know that if these things existed, you would never want to be within 1,000 miles. You'd be uncomfortable knowing that you were on the same planet as them.
Just think of A Bug's Life, and that's kind of how I envision
Yeah,
most of these.
exactly. I picture them very Bugs Lifey.
Now, if you imagine them any more realistic than that, you have nightmares. So, like,
Oh,
just
God.
pretend, no matter how realistically you see every other character in D&D time, all of these characters are animated like A Bug's Life. Otherwise, you go mad with fear. At least I would.
So I don't know how if we want to like go through and just actually read all of this. I think at least I do want to read our quote here as we're going to start going through this. Uh,
Absolutely.
uh, if you've spoken with one Entothrope, you've spoken with all of them. That's not a generalization. They share information extremely efficiently. Which is a quote from Bartholomew, Grand Magus of the Realm. Uh,
We
which
like
I
to
was,
give all of these write-ups that we do a little quote to give them just a little more personality in the world, a little more of that
um,
good.
I love the
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the undead one. If you ever go back and look at the undead, there's a really good quote on that one.
Oh,
But
thank you, Pete. There are some pretty good quotes in there.
yes, um, that's the Entothrope. Basically, just to kind of run through and kind of summarize what each of these little bullet points are, and these will be posted very shortly for you to read through in entirety and also play. But Entothropes, like we're saying, are these kind of werebugs. They can turn into a whole bunch of different bugs, and below you can see we have a number of different kind of sub races for the different options we have available. Although in the kind of lore of what a werebug is, there are certainly any bug could be a therian, which is the generic term for uh, werewolves or any kind of were creature, a therianthrope. There could be a therian for any type of bug. So I know, Jeremy, you've run flea therians before,
I
uh,
have.
which we did not end up building a subrace for, but yeah,
That's okay.
you could do anything.
I don't think we need another race that just jumps, which was like their whole
which is
shtick.
it's weird that we've had so many of those. I guess just a lot of things in nature jump very well.
Cute small things jump. Also, cute hideous things jump. Put those together. That's what everyone wants to
And,
play.
and you have probably a flea therian, but yeah. So that's basically what they are. They are werewolves that are bugs.
Not wolves. Yeah, they're just not
Bug
wolves.
based. Yep. They are always in their kind of intermediate form. So unlike to talk about some of the differences, unlike werewolves, they can't like shift between a humanoid form and a full kind of animal form. They are always in that middle ground. And also, unlike them, they are not necessarily overcome by the kind of bloodlust that a lot of the lycanthropes have. Not all of, but a lot of them have. Instead, they are more kind of programmed to be part of these colonies that they form.
Yeah, I see a couple of great comments in chat just to quickly derail. What if I want a nightmarish version of my Entothrope? B-Bunny, I think they are all nightmarish, right? It's just you don't
Oh
want to
yeah.
imagine them like. So I think you absolutely can. If you want to imagine them as horrifying, go ahead.
I only
And then, so go ahead.
I was gonna say I only do that just to keep my sanity and to sleep every night.
Yeah, I mean, same. And then Reflected Tenate saying a reskin of Bunny Folk is a flea man. Yeah, why not?
I was actually just thinking the same thing.
Easy peasy. Um, but yeah, that's basically the gist. I think Pete hit the nail on the head with a rough description of what these guys are. Um, Statistically, there's a whole bunch of information about their stats. They gain a Constitution bonus plus an additional thing based on subrace. Um, they can all climb, which we thought just made sense for bugs. They
Yep.
have a cool little carapace, which is like pretty good. Actually, I think it's pretty solid because let's use your Constitution modifier.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was a fun little addition.
And their coolest feature, I think, is their extra arm, which are just neat because we've made kind of the executive decision that therianthropes all have at least one set of additional smaller.
Yep.
And they're pretty rad. So the big restrictions are you can't use them to grapple or make attacks or effectively wield a shield or perform similar complex or strenuous tasks. So basically, they're not combat arms, they're useful for others. They can be used for any sort of really simple activities, such as opening a door, carrying a torch, using tools, or performing the somatic components of spells. Which I really liked that. I thought that was neat. I don't know. I just like the idea of maybe the insect cleric, right? You got your shield, you got your sword, and you have your other little arms casting your spells. Just neat.
Very glabrezu. Glabrezu.
Mm. Man, how did we not say that last? That's exactly the shtick.
I just needed that mental image of them with their like mini staff in one hand and then also their sword and shield in the other. Like for the cleric, I think in particular, it works really well in that regard. And they also have this very ribbony feature called
Sorry, go ahead.
called insectoid communication, where they're able to kind of communicate simple ideas and other things to other entothropes specifically via kind of gestures and even smells by like releasing hormones and things like that, so they can silently communicate with other entothropes for 30 feet, which is a pretty
yeah, it's cool. It's like their own little thieves' camp.
Yeah.
And I see everybody saying, so they have awesome, useful, useless arms. Precisely.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's a lot like the trunk feature from the Loxodon. It's just kind of, you can use it for minor things and pick them up and put them down, but you ain't getting an extra weapon attack by wrapping your trunk around it.
Absolutely. We gave them silver vulnerability just as a callback to their kind of lycanthrope heritage.
Let's do therianthrope for that.
Oh yeah, that really should say therianthrope. But yeah, it's I think it's neat.
Yep,
it's a cool. It's really just for flavor. How often are you going to be up against things with silvered weapons? Like players use silvered weapons. Most of the time, enemies don't have silvered weapons. So that's just some neat. And then of course there are 5 categories of subraces, Pete.
They are
the Anththerian, otherwise known as the were-ant. Were-ants are among the most. Oh, do you mind if I?
Oh, please do.
Were-ants
are my favorite one.
Were-ants are among the most common of entothropes. They're industrious and rigid in their ways of thinking. For their colonies, they dig out elaborate underground cave systems that stretch nearly endless. Some explorers believe there is yet a single were-ant colony, and its underground passages span the fullness of the world. That's just a really cool little tidbit of lore. Something neat to play off of if you want to play an Anththerian. Ants are strong. Ability score increase.
Makes sense.
They have an innate bite attack. It's just like a bite. It's pretty okay. They have. We gave them both. Interesting. I guess we gave them 2 subvariants. I didn't realize we actually kept them both.
Nor did I. I thought we actually had gotten rid of one of that. I'm fine with it though.
We're sticking to it now.
Yeah.
Instinctive teamwork, which they get to pick one of the benefits. If you're a soldier ant, whenever you use your action to help another creature, you get to make a free bite attack. Awesome. And then the instinctive teamwork worker. When you use your action to help another creature, if that creature moves before the end of your next turn, you can use your reaction to follow it, moving up to your speed without provoking attack. So it's just a cool little way of having those 2 main variants within an ant colony. We don't have an option for being a queen ant, I'm sorry. And of course, they also have powerful builds, so they can lift really things, as is kind of iconic.
Yes. Cool. Next we have the bee therian. Bees have a great deal in common with their ant kin. Their colonies, however, are great hives with elaborate architecture built in remote locations where they'll seldom be bothered. Bees, because they buzz around, they move so quickly, they get their dexterity score increases. Most of their kit is taken up by flight. They have a flying speed of 40 feet, which you cannot be wearing medium or heavy armor while you have it, very much like the Aarakocra. So you can't fly around in your plate mail paladin bee, which would be absolutely terrifying if that was possible. Even though I do now kind of want to see it.
Well, we kind of have that one later on with the Beetle.
That's true. And then their other feature, which is a bit of a ribbon, is their sting. The stinger is a natural weapon which you can use to make unarmed strikes. If you hit with it, you deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus your dexterity modifier, plus poison damage equal to 2d6. And you may be thinking, wow, a natural weapon that deals 3d6? That's better than like a greatsword. When you hit with this weapon, you are reduced to 0 hit points and cannot use this weapon again until you complete a long rest. As like bees, using their stinger does kill them.
I really love that. I just think it's really cool. I can see
too.
some really, like, some huge dramatic turnarounds from the bee's sting. I just think that's super cool. Our next Therian, the Beetle Therian, otherwise known as the werebeetle. Werebeetles tend to travel in small groups. They keep close tabs on fellow members of their colonies and instinctually gather together at regular intervals to discuss colony business and politics. That feels a lot like a circle of the and druid. I think it's land. It might be moon. That sounds a lot like the flavor in the player's handbook. I really dig it. But yeah, the werebeetles, super rad. Obviously, they're giant beetles. We kind of thought of the Hercules beetle when we were envisioning these guys. At least I was. So we gave them some neat features. They get strength up and constitution up, which is just awesome. They have clumsy flight, so they can fly very slowly. And if they are hit while they're flying, they got to succeed on a Constitution saving throw or fall prone. So it's just like out of combat, yeah, you can just fly. In combat, maybe you want to be a little more careful.
Yeah, and you can fly very slowly.
Exactly.
You're not traversing any great distances with that clumsy flight.
And then last, they have a big horn attack, which is just another cool natural weapon.
Oh no, they also have the improved.
I'm sorry. You're right, Pete. They have improved carapace, which is just a better version of the carapace that the all of the Entothropes have. The Beetle's carapace gives an extra 1 to armor class, so it's a little tougher. It's actually pretty much equivalent to plate armor if you max out your constitution. So very cool.
Next we got the Grasshopper Therian, which it's a toss-up for what I want. I like the Ant, I like the Grasshopper, I like the Beetle. Really, I like them all, but those are the 3 that I would really want to play. But the Werehopper colonies are nomadic. More than other Entothropes, they are gregarious and enjoy the company of other humanoids, but not as much so as the fellow members of their colonies. They get an increase in their charisma score. It goes up by 2. Kind of like the bee, they have one big move, which is their extraordinary leap. The distance of their long jumps are tripled, and every foot of its walking speed that you spend on a jump allows you to move 3 feet. So it can do one very huge jump on its turn, which is fun. And then its ribbon that it has is fiddled legs. Your legs can be used as a natural instrument with which you are proficient. Very fun. Just kind of a cute add-on for the Grasshopper there.
I completely agree. I love the Grasshopper. It's very simple, but very nice. And I think having charisma, I think the Grasshopper is one of the more interesting, because like it doesn't seem like it has a lot there, but on a bard, they're going to be able to use those extra arms for spell casting, right? Mm-hmm. The sorcerer is going to benefit from that. I think it's just going to be really cool overall.
And there's something about that extra, like, kind of flexible mobility that feels like it's very good on a bard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can very much picture the bard kind of, like, jumping from rooftop to rooftop in, like, a city battle, never being able to be, like, quite touched by anything. It just feels like it would be effective.
It's dramatic. It's flamboyant, too. Yeah. Our next one is the Mantis Therian. Basically, they're praying mantis people. I really like these guys. Weremantis are unique among Entothropes in that they live solitary lives. They gather only to mate, which often ends tragically. They get a dexterity and wisdom ability score increase. We kind of split between the 2 because we thought it would just make the most sense. Plus, it's unique. I mean, there are not a lot of races in 5e that have a 3 ability score split. Dexterity, wisdom, and then the base constitution for Entothropes. So we just think it's cool. And it makes sense for the patient kind of assassin that is a Therian.
Very inspired by the monk, for sure.
Definitely. They have patient camouflage. When standing completely still, you're indistinguishable from a tall green plant. It's neat. It's fun. If it doesn't make any sense that there's going to be a tall green plant wherever you are, that probably won't help you at all. But it might throw someone off, and that's cool. And hell, in like a forest, that could be a really powerful.
Absolutely.
They have saber arms.
Of course.
I love the saber arms. They're bladed natural weapons. They count as light and simple weapons. So the key here, different from all the other natural weapons, are because these are light and simple, everyone is proficient with them, and you can dual wield with, which is something we really wanted to have as just a default option for these guys. That's all. They're just neat slashing weapons.
Yeah.
They also have a sudden strike. If you hit a creature with an opportunity attack or surprise, and hit it an attack. If you hit a creature with an opportunity attack or surprise and hit it with an attack on your first turn in combat, the attack deals an extra 2d6 damage to the creature. Once you use a strike, you can't use it again until you finish a long or short rest. It's very much like kind of bugbear surprise attack feature. But the difference is you get another chance to use it if you get to take an opportunity. So that's just a cool, neat little trick. You can only use it once per combat or once per short rest anyway. So it's not very powerful, but it's cool. It's a neat little add-on. And of course, if you get the drop on someone, it's very cute.
And then
our
last
final.
Yes. The were-spider. Were-spiders are reclusive and vehemently avoid those outside their colonies. They spin elaborate webs in remote forests where they can detect trespassers approaching from far away and make themselves scarce or prepare to hunt any wandering prey. The were-spider has that little bit of that like scarier turn because I think of all of them, the one that's probably going to be the scariest is going to be the spider. Therians just sound inherently terrifying to me. And their kit leans into that a little bit. For one thing, we decided to give them the intelligence score increase, which is just a cool one. They're very, spinning webs. It feels like a very calculated thing. And the intelligence felt very right to me. They get spider climb, which allows you to climb on difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings without needing to make an ability check.
That ability is so good.
It's really powerful. The were-spider is very powerful. Next, they have web sense. While in contact with a web, they know the exact location of any other creature in contact with the same web. Web walker, they ignore the movement restrictions caused by webbing. And then web weaver. There's kind of the triad here that all kind of works together.
Web.
Your spider-like anatomy allows you to create strands of thin webbing. The web strands are 1/4 inch thick, function as silk rope, and are not particularly sticky. You can create up to 50 feet of web strand per day, which lasts for 48 hours before decomposing and becoming useless.
I love that. I love that so much. The ability, like, it's so minor, but I feel like that's obviously it's a ribbon, right? It's not meant to hold. And when we say ribbon, we mean it is a fun add-on that is not meant to be a powerful. It's not a balancing factor for the whatever word, whether it be an item or in this case. I love that one so much. This is a really interesting one, the spider, and because like spider climb is super powerful, and then web sense and web walker are like either completely useless or really powerful, right? It's one or the other.
A lot of that. There's a lot of creativity involved in how you're going to use those other features in combination with each other.
Yeah, and I suppose you could actually use the web sense with your web weaver.
Yeah,
that could be neat. But yeah, that's about it for the Entothrope.
Setting up kind of makeshift alarm spell, I think.
Exactly.
The Entothrope, there might be, and I don't think that there will be, but there might be a couple other minor things that we changed. But we can say now, I believe, unless you have anything else that you want to do on this, Jeremy, that this will be available and playable for DnDTime on Friday for anyone who wants to.
Absolutely.
And for all games going forward. I think we're both pretty happy with this one. This one came out really good.
I'm so proud of this one. When we went into working on the Entothrope, I was really concerned because this is a really momentous undertaking as trying to fit 6 very unique subraces onto one chassis while still making it feel cohesive. And I think we did a pretty.
Not
maybe
to pat
we'll see
ourselves
it in play,
on the back.
I think it was a pretty damn. I mean, chat.
I
You
think we
guys
did as
did a
well.
great job helping out too. Like a ton of these ideas came out of chat.
And on the subject of ideas in chat, Frog says, "Wish there was a butterfly/moth subrace." We had talked about that, and we're kind of considering putting it in. We didn't end up having one time for it, and we already had so many subraces. Maybe someday we can go back and add some more stuff to this, since we already have that great framework. But next time we do races, we'll probably move on to something different. But we definitely, at some point, I mean, I agree, it could be very cool.
So. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest issue we were having with them is they felt like if you're going to do a butterfly, right? I mean, you think of like Butterfree, right? In Pokemon, I think that's what I come up with.
For sure.
It feels more whimsy and fey than, and same with like a moth even. It seems more whimsy and fey than this very almost cursed kind of feel. Yeah, I think it's definitely something we could come back.
And this, I mean, if we want to fit it in, maybe we'd probably still want to do it. I guess another thing about it was the carapace also felt very wrong for the butterfly.
Yeah, it didn't fit cohesively with the other.
Yeah, but again, perhaps we'll come back and take a look at those someday.
Moth elves upcoming. I don't know, Lance. Maybe, who knows?
Moth elves sounds rad as hell.
Maybe that'll be one of the things I mess around with and behind the screens in the future. We'll see. But yeah, Entothropes, great. We should get this PDF up, if not tonight, in the next day or so on the website. I'll make an announcement on Discord when it goes up. So that is that.
That's it. It's done. We're done. We did it.
Yep. All right. That's all for DnDTime Brews. No, I'm just kidding.
We're going to be spending the rest of the day here talking about some items, and I'm pretty excited about it. We don't have too much in mind. Jeremy, you had a few general item concepts that you were kind of thinking about here, which I'm very into all of them. In particularly, the first one really sparked my imagination immediately.
Well, yeah, I mean, these I put on here as just a starting point. Our thought here, and chat, you let us know how you feel about this. I expect you're going to like it, but, let me know. We were kind of thinking we would start with these three kind of basic, these item names, and come up with concepts and build the items as we go. But if you have some cool ideas for items, just type out a name. That's all we're really looking for. Or maybe a name and a very brief concept in the chat. And we'll be paying attention and adding those to the list. So actually, I see Psychopath putting in there monkey's paw. Let's put it on there.
Yeah.
Even though a monkey paw, them be some wishes right there. The fork?
That's some just the fork.
The fork? Now, Farful, what is the fork? What the fork? You gotta give us I think a little bit more than just that. Maybe not.
I mean,
what do you want to start with?
Certainly gives us. Let's start on the silvered pantaloons, because that seems like a pretty round one to begin with.
The silvered pantaloons? All right. So, jump down. These are going to be, I think, a little funky.
Did you have anything in mind when you said silvered pantaloons, or is it just the phrase
yes,
silvered pantaloons?
Okay. I did have one. Well, not really. I remembered. So I was playing The Witcher 3 a while back, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. And one of the random useless loot items you could pick up were silvered pantaloons. And I had no idea what silvered pantaloons were. And I know what pantaloons are, which they're the kind of like the big, floofy, loose pants or trousers that are normally like kind of bound at the bottom near the ankle. So I knew what pantaloons were, and I know what silver. And then I put them together, and
you couldn't
comprehend it? I had no idea what a silvered pantaloon was. Are they just pantaloons with silver threading?
I think silvered pantaloons.
What are they?
Among other things, for starters, if there's like metal threading in your pants, those are probably like mithril pants, kind of.
Ooh, okay. I dig it.
Also, silvered things are good against creatures that are weak against silver. Devils, werewolves, which are obviously werewolves we were just talking about. So maybe there's something to do with maybe these were like the pantaloons of a famous like monster hunter or something like that.
Oh, I'm digging it. I'm digging it, and I've got some ideas from chat coming in for future items. And I'm just gonna toss those in here now.
So
Bartholomew's rad rod of radiation and Crixus's soup spoon, which is just a fork.
Crixus's spoon. That's the fork. It's Crixus's soup spoon.
Ah, okay. We're gonna put that one under that. Under here.
Stretch Arena. Stretch it to you.
Oh, V Bunny, thank you for your support.
Oh, thank you so much, V Bunny. Much love to you.
Alrighty. So yeah, let's look at these silver pantaloons. I like this. So we have their mithril pants, or sorry, mithril trousers. We're getting medieval in here. We got mithril. They're probably mithril.
Mithril pantaloons.
Once owned by a famous monster hunter. I love that. So maybe these have some sort of special ability about hunting monsters.
These magical trousers were once owned by famed monster hunter. Chat, you want to give us a great famed monster hunter name for this? And I'll leave it blank for now. I feel like monster hunters, like, there's some names that when you hear them, like, oh yeah, you could have known even before you knew that they were a monster hunter. Like, oh, like Van Helsing, that guy does fight monsters. Like, you already knew that he was a monster hunter long in advance.
That's true.
What do you think they do? Do you think perhaps they're magically defensive against certain types of creatures, or do you think they have some kind of like offensive ability? Like, which direction would you want to go with these? Like maybe you kick people with the side of your legs while you're wearing these pants, and things weak against silver are affected, which seems a little ridiculous and a little hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I'm getting some interesting ideas coming in chat here. Psychopath saying maybe you gain some sort of bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapons or silvered weapons. that would make some sense.
I like Therence Whitegale here. Yeah, Therence.
All right, we got a name. I wonder, Therence White.
I like Therence a lot.
Therence is good.
Whitegale, I'm not quite as sold on.
What if it's like Nightgale?
How about Fightgale?
that's too far.
That was a weird laugh.
What about like Gale Stalker? I want to keep the name, keep something in there. We'll keep Whitegale for now. I mean, it's a good name. I could guess if I were to guess Therence Whitegale's profession, Monster Hunter would probably be in the top 10. I don't know if it'd be in the top 5. It'd be in the top 10.
So, just to make it very clear, we could do like Therence Monster Fighter.
God damn it, Pete.
I am just memeing about a little bit right now. I apologize to everyone at home who
Pete's memeing all over the place, folks.
Deal con mod damage to devils/shapeshifters that you hit with natural weapons. That's pretty cool. I like the idea of the con mod. That's an interesting.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's an interesting way to take this, right? What if this is like, because that would really be a very monk-centric weapon. Like, straight up, this is for monks.
I think if we're doing a monster hunter weapon, maybe you are immune to the cursed condition, which is a really niche condition. But it's kind of like, I think it's a borderline ribbon that sometimes is going to be like, oh, I can't be cursed. Because that also, like, that feels like it's right. It applies to witches sometimes. It'll apply to mummies sometimes. And the kind of, like, traditional monsters you'd expect the Monster Hunter to.
I like this other idea. Ronald McDonald Monster Hunter. Excellent name. Used to tune the swamp banjo. I don't know. I don't think you use pants to tune banjo. I like Psychopath.
That was a reference to something else?
Most likely, but I like to read it out of context.
I think that was the fork. That was what that was.
Oh, it's a tuning fork.
Uh-huh.
Cleverness. I see psychopath suggesting maybe you deal more damage to shape change. Okay, maybe instead of specifically lycanthrope, maybe something about shape changers might be neat. Your pants tingle when you're near shape changers. Oh, I love this.
Maybe that's when the silver. Maybe that's when the silver shows up. Like the silver kind of sparkles a little bit on the pants to work
excellent.
that back in.
Theron's Sporkalot. No, not sure. Not Abraham Lincoln or Ronald McDonald. Yep, I don't think we should go with. Ooh. But Terrence Abraham sounds like a fucking monster.
Oh, I'm so into Terrence Abraham.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Lance.
I'm also
maybe Terrence Abraham White Gale. That's a baller name.
Another baller name, also like Terrence Abraham, but also Abraham Terrence is also fucking sick. I apologize for my language there.
Pete, I forgive you. As co-host on the stream.
Please block your ears 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, all right, I dig it. So Abraham Terrence White Gale. Excellent. Chat, see, this is what happens when you all are contributing here. You don't get stuck with Pete and I's horrible names.
Wait, I'm actually just gonna put a little bit of a coup de grace on this.
The fourth? Nah, I think that's too far.
Oh, wait, you don't think the third? Like, Abraham Terrence Whitegale the third. Doesn't it feel like it needs a the third?
No, I don't think so.
I think it does.
I think we're like, there's a fear we're getting too fancy. You know, we're getting too noble.
Maybe just Terrence Abraham then.
We can have the third on there, Pete. You can leave the third. It's fine. I'm nitpicking.
I'm gonna highlight it in yellow to make it clear that it's in dispute.
We are in dispute of the three. There were a bunch of other cool ideas in there for names. I'm seeing Terraslan.
Your trousers tingle.
Yeah, so I think we're getting a cool idea of. We have some cool things down here. Do we want this to be a monk-centric kind of idea? So I don't know about you, Pete, but I usually design, unless I'm designing for a specific party, right? I generally try not to have class-specific things because it's so neat. You know what I mean?
That is absolutely doubly true with the way that we're also, because these are all items that we're designing for Bartholomew's Big Bag Bonanza, and we've recently readjusted the bag to make it a lot more. Every item is usable by most characters. There's still going to be things that are not completely unique. There might be a weapon in the bag that someone pulls out, which if you're a spellcaster you don't care about, or a spellcasting item, vice versa. But those are still pretty broadly applicable, and the majority of characters are able to use them. So in that regard, having one that's like only really optimal on a monk, I'd prefer to make it a little bit more broad. So I guess, long story short, I agree with you.
Yeah, so we'll take away the extra damage stuff, but maybe there's a damage resistance factor. I think that would be a cool way of maybe handling.
I agree. I think a damage resistance would work well for this.
So I was thinking about what is a lycanthrope in 5e, and if you look at like a werewolf, for example, they're humanoid, but they're humanoid shape change. They're one of the few kind of dual types in 5e. Not a lot of things have multiple types. I mean, Draco Lich is a dragon undead, but that's they're very few.
The centaur in the
even that, I think they got rid of it. It's just Fae now.
Oh, it's just Fae. They're not even humanoid Fae. Oh.
Yeah. So that changes a lot of things, and I think maybe we stick to this shape changer idea that Fluffy was talking about. because I think that's a little bit broader than just lycanthropes, and it would make sense for a broad monster hunt, right? That hunts like vampires.
Yes, and there's a number of things that shape changer could apply to
Mhm,
your doppelgangers of the world.
precisely. Now, what's interesting is I don't think it applies to things like the mimic, where they don't really have. Oh no, it is a shape changer. Never mind. It applies to everything with particularly potent. If you can tell when mimics are near, your pants tingle when mimics. What does tingle mean?
Um, I don't think we need to explain that because I think if as long as we add that they also sparkle with silver, then people can interpret tingle
Yes.
however they want.
Okay, I agree. All right, so I like detecting things nearby. That's cool. That's awesome. Um,
Um,
ooh, that's a really
damage.
cool idea from Reflected Tonight in chat. Shape changers cannot copy the form of the wearer. Hmm.
I like the idea, but I feel like you won't feel the impact of it on the item
No, you
because
won't.
it just won't. It won't ever feel like it's coming up because you don't get to like see them like try and become you and then fail. Like so, even though it's like
It's
cool, it won't come up.
yeah. I think it depends on like if you're making this for a campaign where shape changers like doppelgangers were going to be very heavy. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I
in this
definitely like that
context,
idea.
yeah, I think our immunity to cursed condition kind of states that. All right, so let's talk about how we're gonna actually do some of these. Um, I think the first idea, right? If we want to talk about the detecting, like, I think that makes sense as the first thing that goes on.
And I think the probably the weapon of warning is the place to look to for that.
Yeah, I mean, weapon of warning was one. I was thinking the paladin's divine sense would be another particularly interesting one.
Oh yeah, no, the weapon of warning. I was just looking it up. That's not exactly what I was looking for. I was thinking of it more as because we want an effect similar, I think, to Bilbo's sting from The Hobbit for anyone who is familiar with it.
Precisely. So here, I'm gonna just paste in paladin's divine sense. The presence of strong evil registered on your senses like a noxious odor, and a powerful good rings like heavenly music in your ear.
It's a great that's a great just description of that ability. Very cool.
As an action, you can open your awareness to detect such forces. Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total. So, I think what we can just say is the presence of what do we want to say? Shapeshifters. That's a. I want a
But
better word than just shape.
uh, but also I'm concerned like if we're gonna add other things to this weapon or this I'm sorry this weapon these pairs of pants these pantaloons
They're
um
pantaloons.
yes that's a lot of text to put on and then also put on more text. They end up being very big.
Um.
I would rather just do a more
Yeah.
succinct like you know while within X distance of this type of thing, the
Mhm.
pantaloons do this. Um, and I don't know if there's
So it's just so
a
maybe just
preference.
while within. I don't think there is. So while within, do we want to say 60 feet or 30 feet?
Um, 30 feet feels better to me. 60 feet is a pretty fair chunk.
So while within 30 feet of, well, I'm sorry, does cover prevent this?
I think 30 feet, but cover does not prevent it.
Excellent. So when you are while within 30 feet of a shape changer, uh, these pantaloons.
I'll just reflect this above.
Oh, I was just editing the other one. Tingle with magic. And we want to say shimmering with their silver threads shimmering with power.
Sounds good to me.
And we just, it's just, is that it? Is that all we have to say there?
I think that's it.
I think we should just say
I don't know if
you
there's a. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
are aware of the presence of. Do we say location? Do we keep that location aspect?
No, I think just presence, because I think it's more exciting if
Mhm.
like Sting, because I think that's like the most relative effect. If you just kind of look at your pants and all of a sudden they're silver, and you have to start looking around and being like, oh no, there's an enemy close, and especially with something like a mimic, like you're just in a room that is just kind of like a furnished room, and all of a sudden your pants
Mhm.
start to glow and you realize that there's something a little bit more to the space that meets the eye. I think that's more interesting than.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the concept of like a dungeon crawl too, right?
Mhm.
Like one of the things that I always hated about Divine Sense is you're in a room, there's a door, there might be something behind that door. It's like a thin freaking door,
And your
and
divine
it
sense
that
does not
complete
work. Yeah.
exactly right. And that's just I don't know. It's underwhelming.
I actually don't use that rule when I have my
hmm
paladins use divine sense. I actually just ignore that because I agree completely.
So while shape changers are near, these pantaloons tingle with magic, their silver threads shimmering with power. You are aware of the presence of any shape changer within 30 feet of
Does it need to be, just aware of the presence? Is aware of the presence make it clear enough that you don't know the location, or
you.
um, I guess I'm
But
okay with it.
not the precise location.
Yeah, if we don't need it, then I'd rather not put it in your opinion. But
I think it's worth putting in.
yeah, I think so too.
So we have our shape changer. I've missed a little bit of chat. I apologize.
Yeah, V Bunny was saying, I love the tingle and glitter thing, tingle, glitter, and shine. It doesn't feel very Monster Huntery, which is what's great about it. Even though it's such like an efficient Monster Hunter tool, I cannot picture Abraham Terrence Whitegale using these things and liking them, but they are a necessary evil of the trade.
I don't know. I almost see them as his like signature thing.
His
But
shining pants.
I love
I was picturing the grittier.
I I love psychopaths comment in there. Sees chest, pants begin to sparkle. Hold up, guys. There's something ain't right here. Uh,
And like to a degree, this item feels done. um, Wondrous item,
is
low,
it?
like a low uncommon that doesn't require attunement. You can just wear these pants if you want. Um,
Yeah,
but
I mean we could.
but I think I would, just for the sake of putting it in the bag, because it's not something that comes up that often and that many players will have the opportunity to use. Because like I would be totally okay with just giving these pants to one of my players, and I can
Oh yeah,
picture anyone really
I think
like
people would be stoked.
catching on to them. But then I would, build the campaign around giving them opportunities for the pants to come up.
hmm
So I think um, immunity to the curse condition is something that's pretty unique, and that we could tack onto this would make them a fair touch more powerful. Or if we want to do some kind of resistance against creatures that are shape changers specifically, or monsters or something along those lines. But I kind of just like the cursed immunity because I've never seen that before. Um,
I think we just yeah, I think that's awesome. I just think that's just a cool addition there. I don't think it actually makes it even more powerful, to be honest.
yeah, a touch. There are going to be a couple
Yeah.
of times, like the one time that it comes up where the mummy tries to use their mummy's curse on you, and they're like, "I have my silvered pantaloons."
Dun dun dun!
It's going to feel really cool. But
I agree.
um, outside of that, probably not necessary. I would make this item attunement if I put it in my game, probably, because they would be like a tactical choice of
hmm
they would be finding out if they were
But in the context of DnDTime, probably
yeah,
not.
yep.
Awesome.
That's a
So
done item.
before we get too caught up in that, yeah, let's move on to our next little shtick here. So we've got the silvered pantaloons; they're done with. Now we have a couple more items. We have the thread from Bartholomew's robes. I think we want to do that at some point because I'm into that, and I know you are.
I am too.
I'm not really into the bandana's mystique.
Yeah.
It's just like
again,
not that interesting a name.
I'd like to do some of these
Some of these player
quick chat
yeah.
ones. Yeah. So do you want to dive into the thread from Bartholomew's robes now, and then get on to player items from that point forward?
Yeah, I see we have an item name in the chat. Big Daddy Puns, Book of Witty Responses. A book of dad jokes, dad joke level retorts written by the Sphinx, Big Daddy Pun.
Big Daddy Pun. Was that the name of that Sphinx?
That was
his name
from Delves.
His name was
Big
actually
Daddy
Big
Pun.
Daddy Pun. Fair enough.
Yep. I think it was a slightly bigger name, but I forgot it and just went to Big Daddy Pun. But I don't know. Do we want to make something like that? We have a lot of goofy items in D&D.
I think we already have that items. The inspiration I'm getting for that is kind of like a vicious mockery, kind of like this book teaches you vicious mockery, which I think we actually have 2 things in the bag that do already do that, which is one of my first concerns. So if you have like a specific direction that you'd want to take that, I mean it's goofy, but I don't mind another goofy thing in the bag. But it would just
we're gonna put it on the list for now, and maybe
I guess the obvious one would be, maybe a Tasha's hideous laughter kind of thing. But
I mean, that is some hideous laughter. All right, so what do we want to do now? The monkey's paw. That's going to be a really bizarre. Unlocks cutting words. Yeah, that would be a pretty cool one. Plan. Yeah, I think there are definitely some openings for Big Daddy Pun's Book of Witty Response. Let's talk about some of these other ones for now. Monkey's paw.
This sounds in my brain when I hear monkey's paw. It's something that's so legendary. I want to almost make this a legendary item, and I think that this could be. I think that this could be a simple legendary item. A very concise one, because for anyone who's unfamiliar with the monkey's paw, the monkey's paw is like the mummified hand of a monkey, and it allows you to cast, or not cast wishes. I'm already applying mechanics to it. It grants wishes. However, the wishes are extremely subject to being kind of distorted and turned in on themselves to make them kind of go against both the intentions and even in some senses like it ends up being the opposite of what it is that you want by exaggerating the wish. So it's a very poorly distorted wish is something from the monkey's paw. And
it's kind of cursed in its own right.
Yes, I would say this is definitely like a cursed item.
Oof. I don't know about you, but I recently, in a game I was playing in, I got into possession of a luck blade. Are you familiar with the luck blade, Pete?
Yes, of course.
So one of the things I love about the luck blade is it has luck is one of its core features. In that once per day you can use a luck point to reroll a thing, and that's just a base feature on the luck blade. I think the monkey's paw just by default has unluck. While you have this, bad things happen.
I like that a lot, for sure.
I mean, that just seems good to me. I'm gonna paste it down there. So that is an excerpt from the luck blade here. So how do we make that unluck, right?
There's a couple of ways to do it, and I think I think the obvious way would be to just say that the DM can call on its unluck, and the DM just makes the decision about when they are going to give you, instead of having a reroll to reroll and have to take the lower result, essentially. What that seems unfun to play with in a major way, where
there's some huge issues with that, right? In that, like, DM now a ton of responsibility on.
Yep, pain, a pain to do, and really frustrating when you roll your natural 20 and the DM says, "Wait, you didn't roll that though. You rolled something else."
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Well, I was just, as you were talking, I was just thinking. So the biggest issue with that is the DM being able to force it on you, kind of on a whim, as being like, "Man, that sucks." What might be cool is if it was a more, I guess you could say guaranteed or reliable. So if it's like the first time you would roll a saving, right? Or maybe it's the first time you would fail a saving throw, some other effect happens. Like you gain vulnerability to the effects of that or of
Um,
that ability. That might be, I mean, that'd be brutal.
how about the first time you would make a roll with advantage, you instead make it with disadvantage?
The problem I have with that is like players can work around that.
Manipulate it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my biggest concern there. Psychopath. You had to help a friend. What did you miss? The final choice on the pants. The final choice on the pants, Psychopath. We ended up with the silvered pantaloons, which provide. What did we say they tingle when shape changes are near,
They
and
tingle
you're
and
immune to curses.
sparkle.
So it's a fairly simple item, but there's no attunement on it. It's just a cool thing to have. Disadvantage on death saving throws. Yeah, Lance,
That ends up being a little bit unimpactful.
right. It's either unimpactful or it sucks for everyone else a lot more. Right? Because
Yeah.
what that ends up doing is it just puts a much bigger requirement on your allies to move fast. And it's like, yeah, drop everything and heal me because I'm gonna die. And that, I think we got to be wary of that a little bit leery of those kind of abilities, but not an awful idea. I think we have a couple things in the bag that do. So I don't know. What do you think? I was thinking like maybe vulnerability to the first damage you take from an enemy attack. That might be an idea. What's another?
It's tough. It's a tough one.
I mean, vulnerability is super potent. It'd just be disadvantage on saving throw, or a -2 penalty to your saving.
Yeah. I mean,
actually, that is precisely. I think
that is-
-2 penalty is the dislock from
Uriel.
the deck of many things. Yeah,
Yeah, that's Uriel.
I like
yeah,
that. I think that's
it's
pretty
pretty
cool.
good. It definitely seems. So here's my question:
Mhm.
What is this going to do? Let's. We know we're going to do something in the unluck category and write down the -2 to all things.
Yeah.
But we should decide what the monkey's paw is going to do for you, because a lot of the time, one of the lore of the monkey's paw again is it turns what you want back on itself. So we should kind of figure out what it is that we're offsetting.
Mhm.
But
Well,
the
I
Uriel is a
think
great reference for that,
let's. You
because
can use
I
a
don't.
pot on it.
Because I think we'd be
Ooh.
doing a bit of a disservice to the item if we don't give it some kind of ability to cast the wish spell.
Yeah, so I'm looking at chat right now, and Psychopath has some cool ideas for this because it's actually one of the items that he had recommended. And it was you can use the pot to automatically hit with an attack, but you take the damage you would. That might be. Oh, hell, or just but all attacks targeting you automatically hit on the turn. That would be another way of kind of turning that back on you.
That's definitely very cool. I like that mechanic, but that
Well,
almost that doesn't quite feel like the legendary thing that the monkey's paw is meant to be, unless you want to do a more kind of
this
toned down
mummified, right? This mummified monkey's paw contains 5, or has 5, or probably the word 5. As an action, you may hold the paw and make a wish. And then I think what we do, right, is we give some example wishes. Like, that's an example of the wish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Success might be what we call that wish, the one where you automatically hit. And yeah, you automatically hit, but then everything comes back to bite you, right?
Yeah.
that would be a cool way of, as being an example wish of, yes, you know what the repercussion is if you use one of the wishes to do this.
Okay.
And
So
then
you're
it
not
also has
thinking
the general
um
wish property.
you're not thinking the wish spell, you're thinking a lot of
Oh,
kind
I
of
was thinking the wish spell too. It's just in
okay.
the wish spell, if you look at it, right? It has a
It has the drawback, is that what you're referring to?
no. It has a series of example wishes
Oh
that
yes,
you
yes,
can
yes,
hang,
yes.
right? You create one object to 25,000 gold pieces in value that isn't a magic item. The object can be no more than 300 feet in any dimension. It appears in an ocular space you see on the ground. And that's an example wish. And I think we can do the same thing with the monkey's paw, where we give an example wish, right? In that case, success. What do you wish for? Success or wealth or, I mean, wealth is probably, it's a weird one for DnDTime. But we could give like 2 or 3 example wishes, and then say alternatively, you may use this spell. You may use 1 charge of the monkey's paw to cast the wish, and it just has all of the wishes, right?
Mhm.
I think that would just be a neat way, because
Yeah.
the problem with it just having wish straight up is like, if it only had wish, it's just always the player trying to out finesse the item. And
My thought for the wish spell and the mechanic that I was working with, it was going to be a little bit more story based. It's just a
mhm,
hard thing for the monkey's paw because of what it is to like do and to make it be exactly what the monkey's paw is and have it work with kind of in the realm of mechanics. And like the kind of stuff that I was fiddling around with in my brain was like
mhm.
granting a wish to someone that is bent against you to use against you or something along those lines. But you know, it's a little vague and it's hard to put that kind of thing on item. That's how I would run this if I was going to run it. So I was wondering if I could come up with something that would fall in that domain.
Yeah, and the monkey's paw is funky. Maybe for now we come back to this one a little bit, because I think we have a couple of cool ideas of, like, it has a passive disluck feature, and
Yeah.
then it has some other stuff that maybe, and maybe we just come back to it. I'm just gonna put my note on there so I don't forget it. That is a few example wish options with example or unlock or opposite
Yeah, you
example
know,
opposite effect.
negation or what have you. Negation of said wish. Uh, the the monkey's paw. It's a tough one. It's
Yeah, no, it
it,
certainly is. I
it's
think
like
it's
whenever we're
meant to
doing one of
bite off.
yeah, whenever we're doing one of these kind of already existing, like I know we did the Gabolga once.
Mhm.
Whenever we're doing one of those kind of items, it's always you have to pay a lot more attention to detail to kind of get it right, so to speak.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because I don't. There's a reason that the monkey's paw isn't in the Dungeon Master's Guide, right?
Yeah.
And it's not because it's a bad item. It's an excellent item.
Oh
It's
no.
a super fucking cool item. Pandora's box. There's a reason these aren't in the DMG as example things, and it's because if you want to use them, you probably want to use them in a way very specific to your. It'd be pretty challenging to use them just kind of generic, because it's not generic. It's very case by case.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this one later. I still think we can come up with like a passable example here, but
Um,
maybe just not right the second. Let's not get
Wait,
hooked
Jeremy,
on.
let me just throw um,
Pete, go ahead.
one more
Go ahead,
quick
my friend.
idea at you. I think the monkey's paw is a cursed item, and when you make a wish on the monkey's paw, it just lets you cast the wish spell X number of times, and the wish occurs in a much longer time frame. It's just the wish occurs sometime within the next 30 or 40 days, which just gives a lot of time for the wish to happen, and then the DM to decide what the negation of that wish would be and what is an appropriate response to it. And it lets the player use it in the way that they want to, and then give the DM the time to make it appropriate for the monkey's paw, and then the curse on it just details that that's something that's going to happen, that when you use the monkey's paw, it has negative consequences.
we're building these for D&D time, so I don't think that's gonna. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. And if in that regard, then I just don't think it can even fit in D&D time. And be
I don't
what
know.
it is.
I think we could come up with some stuff, but we'll worry about it.
Yeah. Well, for now, either way, why don't we take, since it's 10 o'clock, why don't we take a quick break?
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, maybe we'll jump onto something a little easier to grasp,
Yeah,
like
we'll-
the thread from Bartholomew's robes, maybe, and then we hit a yeah, a little too OP, psychopath. Really, it's a little too special. At least, anyway, we'll come back. We'll work on the robes, and then maybe we'll tackle a few more of these items. All right, we will be right back then. See y'all in a minute. on, buddy?
We're back.
Welcome back.
Um,
Wow, one after another.
yeah. So
All right.
we're gonna get back into it. We're gonna step away from the monkey's paw for a time, and perhaps we'll come back to it at the end, or just on our own time in a different day, which is probably the more likely option. For now, we're going to do one of the ones that was Jeremy's idea. That was a thread from Bartholomew's robes, which, as Bartholomew, I want to know what happens is the thread. What do my robes do? I gotta know.
What
I'm very excited.
do Bartholomew's robes do?
What do Bartholomew's robes do?
What do they do?
What do dem robes do? I mean, the actual answer to that question. The actual answer to that question is I can't tell you guys that. That's against the rules. But what does a thread do? As a first thought, I you could do something like an immovable rod, but it's a thread, an immovable thread.
I don't know. The immovable rod it's a very special thing. I think it's almost too special.
You don't want to
throw on
to hollow the or.
Oh, I'm liking this. Thread equals fate. Maybe something to do with fate. Okay, I like this.
I like that a lot as well.
Cool concept. And action. Maybe like specifically altering fate.
+2 spell save DC.
Yeah. All right, let's just open up Robe of the Magi and
just one thread is a whole Robe of the Magi.
Like, holy shit, Bartholomew.
That's funny.
So actually, let's just open up. Where's the Staff Magi? No, Robe of the Archmaid.
No, Jeremy, is an idea here. A thread from Bartholomew's robes. Are we thinking that this is an item that this sounds like it might be a consumable to me? Like you break the thread and something happens.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm just thinking that now because I can't picture like a lot that you would do with a thread other than using it as maybe like a spell casting focus. We could do that kind of direction. But the consumable just sounds very cool to me, and I like the idea of changing fate in some way with a thread from Bartholomew's robes.
I got an awesome idea for this, Pete. Hear me out. We had a cool idea from chat in Psychopath saying Pearl of Power. I think this item functions as a Pearl of Power just by default, but you can consume it, breaking the thread to stop time.
Cast time stop.
Exactly. You get one baller, use the time stop spell, or it's just a Pearl of Power all the time. That kind of, I think the time stop really works well for the like altering fate. Right.
I agree.
To a degree.
You know what? I'm in. Let's do it.
Wait, are we done?
Yeah.
Magical item cheeseburger. Oh, destiny.
Let me grab that. Do you already have the thread of fate, or I'm sorry, the Pearl of Power?
I do.
Oh well, you got it before I did.
Pete, I'm an expert. And so while this thread is on your person, you can use an action to speak its command word and regain one spell slot. This is written really poorly, in my opinion. Slot of 3rd level or lower. That just, I don't understand why it was written the other way.
I think it's specified such that.
Oh, for warlocks? Yeah, that's exactly the reason. Well, whatever. We'll just leave the exact text of Pearl of Power. In way. Done. Additionally,
as an action.
As an action, you may break the thread, unwinding the proverbial threads of fate.
The fabric of reality.
Oh yes. Do so. Do we want to say you cast the time stop spell, or do we want to like find the text of the time stop spell and just use a little bit?
Let me look at that text right now.
Yeah,
Very briefly.
there's not a ton.
It's not a super complicated spell.
Yeah, I think we can just say that you cast
Because
the spell.
I would love to. Well, I don't know. I kind of like putting the first half of the time stop spell in because then it doesn't have the thing where if you hurt someone, it ends the time stop spell.
Oh, do we want to let people hurt people in time stop here?
Yeah, it's a consumable.
All right.
Give him that Matt LeBlanc time stop.
Okay. So
As a
no time
point of
passed for the
reference-
creatures, and I think one important note here for the environment doesn't actually do that in the actual spell. Like
I
lava
didn't-
flows still happen. Rules as written.
Interesting. I did not know
Which is-
that.
Yeah, well, it's
I-
dumb.
Well, actually, let me rephrase. I probably read that at some point and then decided that that's not how it worked.
Actually, I'll just say creatures, and we'll just read it. Yeah, whatever. Cool. So I think that
And I'm tempted a little bit to, since we're making time stop what we want it to be,
mhm.
I'm tempted to not do 1d4 plus 1, so you can't roll minimum, and just do either like 2 or like 3 or 4 turns. It's frustrating when you time stop and then you just like, oh, I used my sick thing and I got 1.
Well, it's a minimum of 2. So I guess at its worst, this item would be 1 action. It's an action to use, and then you get.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, but if we buff it to a bigger die, there's a potential of it just being destroyed.
no, yeah, we
or
can't do
give it,
that. 5
and-
turns would still
and-
be busted. I think we just say 3.
Yeah, 3 works for me.
And I think we add a specific note in here,
Oh.
which is the because one of the stipulation, right, is the spell ends if one of your actions used during this period or any effects you create during this period affects a creature other than you or an object being worn or carried by someone other than you. I think we just specify. Do we like? It's one of those times where rules, like the way we have this written, there's nothing in here that says that the time stop ends if you attack. Because it's not supposed to, right? It's not supposed to end if you attack people in this ability.
But you want it to.
It's just I'm
Add it
afraid
so
people
that
might
people-
read it and
I
then
just think it's time stop and
precisely.
I see.
I think we can just say you can attack. You may you may damage and affect other creatures as normal during this time.
During this
Untime.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so actually, this now is bringing up more questions. How does a dexterity saving throw work in time stop?
The way I ran time stop in the past was that everything happened at
Resolve when time.
Yep, there it is.
Cool.
Precisely.
So instead of you may attack and affect other creatures. Normal. That should be affect, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Should be.
I hate affect and effect.
The Forgotten One asks, what if Bartholomew's resurrection of adventurers is just him breaking a thread off his robes, him teleporting their bodies to the shop, and reviving them?
I mean, maybe.
Who could say?
Bartholomew works in mysterious.
Probably us now, because we didn't know this existed until a second ago.
Advantage on all checks concerning Bartholomew when this is on your person. That's the funny one, Psychopath. I like it.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think this is great.
Want to do the fort?
Just the fork. It's just the
Yeah,
fork.
it's just a fork. There's
What
so
else
much
we have?
room. So much room to
Bartholomew's
gallop.
Rad Rod of Radiation. That's another one on there. Bartholomew's Lunch, a magic tea thermos. And Big Daddy Pun's Book O Witty Response. I think it should be the Book O Witty. Don't ask why. Just
I think the fork. Well, we just did a Bartholomew themed item, so I'm into doing the fork.
I'm with you. So we're just gonna do a fork.
Well,
is it the fork or a fork?
Is this in canon the first ever fork? That's why it's the fork.
Oh, I think we just have our starting place here. This bent. This. I don't know. This iron rod with crude prongs is the first ever fork. Now what does it do?
We even just say, I guess not. I wanted to say the first ever utensil.
And I'm okay with that.
And then they called it the fork.
I like this. I dig it.
I was reticent because I was actually like, they probably picked up a stick at some point.
Nah, but it wasn't a utensil, Pete. It was just
fair
a stick.
Fair enough. Weapon.
Bartholomew's Rose. Oh, Psychopath made a cool point actually about the thread a minute ago. It can't be countered because it's not casting a spell. It just breaks time.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What do you counter with someone breaking a thread?
You cast Hold Person on them before they do
Mending! You bastard!
Wait, OP strats.
Oh, wait a minute.
You just mend the thread after you use it.
Once broken, the thread loses all.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Okay, we're back to the fork again, folks. Fork time! All right. The fork can cast Prestidigitation to make food taste like whatever it desires. Farful saying, make it eldritch. You've forgotten one saying, an iron rod with metal tentacles, an old ancient eldritch origin. I don't know. What are you thinking, Pete? You have any ideas?
The fork that came before. The fork, I was just picturing it. I would love to give it some kind of. I mean, you gotta use it to eat things, right? Lets you eat stuff. The fork. You stab it into things, and you can eat things.
Christ. All right, so we're making an item just for you chonkus guys. I know you're saying we don't want to make it for just a race or a class because it's really specific. This is just for you chunk.
Like, I would love to stab the fork into a tree and turn the tree into food. Because we don't want to make it a weapon. Because we're trying to stay away from weapons. And forks are for eating food. And so what if the whole world became food? Well, you have the fork. This is not something Uchungus would use. He doesn't use utensils. Have you seen him eat? Fair point.
All right, so let's see. I think chat is liking. Chat is really liking your idea of eating everything. I see Lance or fucking Tenate saying, with this fork, you may eat anything one bite at a time, destroying from the world. So I guess the first question, if we're going to have it consume things, right? Is it like one bite gone? Is it like you stick it in the tree and you eat the whole tree? Or can you just eat pieces out of anything?
That's a good question, and the answer is, I don't know, we could do either one. Both sound kind of fun. And there's a different direction we could go for either one. Which of those appeals to you more, since you were less into the eating things idea?
Oh, I'm fine with whatever, Pete.
Oh, you're feeling it now?
Yeah.
Then maybe
I'm okay with it.
I kind of like the one bite at a time. Is this going to have any mechanical benefits, or is the benefit of this item eating things to get them out of your path?
I think it's that. I think it is just that, which is just going to be an uncommon item.
Yeah, in that case, I think it's one bite at a time, and it's on non-living material.
While you wield this fork,
You can only use it to eat things that you couldn't normally eat.
yeah, uh, you may stick it into any non-living material. Do you want to say non-living? Because like I feel like eating the tree is like I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was thinking, specifically, you couldn't eat food with it. Like, eating a tomato with it doesn't work, but I guess you can just stab a tomato with it. I think, because I don't think we can use this thing to say, like, oh yeah, you can just stab someone in the leg with it and just pull off a piece of their body
We'll just say it's non-living material.
in the way that, yeah.
I think we're okay with it.
And I think if anyone uses the fork in one of my games on a tree, I will just allow it.
So when you do so, when you wield this fork, you may stick it into any non-living material and pull it back out as an action. When you do so,
Reflected
you
10
take with it. Go ahead.
Burrow speed of 1 feet, eating the earth before you.
Up to, and how much? Probably like 6 cubic inches of material, which becomes delicious and consumable. Oh, and easily can.
Can it taste bad, actually?
Oh. Yep.
It's like just very bland and unpleasant, because I feel like that's a common one with the food items, is that, like, oh well, it's incredible and it tastes good to eat the ground. Just like, no, it does come at a price.
Yet disgusting. Okay. Now, do we want to say that like there's a limit to the amount you can eat? So like you may use this fork. Sorry,
probably
fork.
based on your Constitution modifier, right?
Yeah. Oh, I think that's great. Up to how much food can someone eat? How big is a stomach? Size of stomach.
And I think we're measuring this probably in cubic feet, right?
Yeah, so I think we want volume of stomach. So this should actually be half a cubic. It's about 1 liter. How big is a liter? Liter to cubic feet.
Certainly not quite a cubic.
Not close. Not a lot.
Foot. Yeah,
it's way less than that.
I think we just give the stomach a little bit of hammer space and say that you can eat a number of cubic feet of material equal to your Constitution score.
Okay. You may use the fork to consume up to a number to consume.
Or either modifier or score. I don't know. I'm trying to picture how much space 20 feet of. If
That's
you had the
outrageous.
max con, 20 cubic feet of material would be. The answer.
So anyway, you can use the fork to consume a total of. What do we want to say? A total of cubic feet of material
equal to your Constitution modifier, minimum of 1.
Sure. You want to say just your Constitution modifier?
Or do you want to do Constitution score or Constitution modifier plus something arbitrary?
Well, my thought, right, is if it's a +5, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 1 square. For perspective.
It's actually kind of a lot.
It's outrageous, yeah.
I was picturing less when I was saying 20 before. I wasn't picturing a 20-foot square. I was picturing like 21 cubic foot squares.
Yeah.
Because a 20.
No, of course.
Okay.
But 5 feet by 5 feet is 5 cubic feet.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's
Five
a
by
lot.
5 by 5 of force. Yeah, it's a ton of. I think that's okay.
No,
It's a
no,
slightly
because
magical
that's
force.
not just. I don't think the math works out right on that. I think 1 cubic foot squares is a much less volume than 1 5 cubic foot square because of the way cubing works.
Am I just totally mathing wrong
Yeah,
here? I
yeah.
might be
You just
mathing
that's why I
wrong
was
here,
getting
folks.
confused.
Okay, whatever. I'm just mathing bad here. We'll say
'Cause
twice your con modifier.
that's 125 versus 5.
We'll say 2 times your con modifier, and we'll just go with that. Actually, there's a great one in chat. Half Constitution score. Let's just say your Constitution score,
Yeah, I think we can do Constitution score.
and that way we can get rid of the minimum. That's a good one, Frog. I think this is a great time to use it. Yeah, it's 125 cubic feet, guys. I'm not very good at math, apparently. Whew. I'm an engineer. Anyway,
When's the last time you did geometry, though? Like,
does that even count as geometry at that point?
we'll say it does.
A long time is the answer. Cool.
That's an item.
And we'll just say it's 1 cubic feet just to make it easier.
I almost want to make this item require attunement.
I think it's fine.
I'm on the fence on this one. Like, it's fine until we realize, like, this is the kind of item that we regret. Just looking at it right now, that we look at it and be like, but then we realize the terrible, terrible things that people can do with this. I would love that.
I eat the adamantine.
Yeah, the safety attunement. Oh,
if you think so,
point,
Pete. If you think so. I think this is a cool item.
Non-living.
When you spend more time on a fork than a thread.
A fork is more complicated. Thread's a straight line, and a fork is.
Oh, you're putting non-magical on there?
You want to be able to eat?
No, I'm fine with that.
The deck of. I eat the deck of many things.
Dear Christ. All right, so we got our fork. The fork is done.
The fork is a masterpiece.
Yeah, right. I'm exactly thinking of that, Farfel. People pass the fork around and eat their way through a wall. What happens if it's not attunement? Everybody, fill up. We're digging in. Oh, that's Jesus. Anyway.
Oh God.
All right, so we got the fork. The thread, we didn't put a rarity on the thread. It's a Pearl of Power, which is an uncommon item anyway, that lets you cast a 9th level spell, but actually better than a 9th
spell. Probably then rare, because it's a consumable. And...
Yeah, okay. I guess it's because it's the consumable, so we call it rare. I'm with you on that. All right, OP, but I'm aiming. A little powerful, don't you think? That's what we're afraid of, V-Bunny, but you know what? Now there's the fork in the bag.
We're making some bold items tonight, guys.
We're making some items, guys. This is how progress is made, right? You have to push the boundaries if you want to get anywhere new.
For the next item, we're going to be designing a 10th level spell.
It's called
All right. What have we now? We have Radtholomew's Rad Rod of Radiation. We have Bartholomew's Lunch, Magic Tea Thermos, and we have Big Daddy Pun's Book of Witty Responses.
And anyone else, if you have some other cool ideas for names for items or basic concepts, no, not just the book. We just did the fork. Also, the book's in the back room. It's a tome.
Yeah, I believe that is a tome.
I'm saying you're saying to do the book. I see, the Big Daddy book. Yep. Well, here's the thing. Both the Tea Thermos and the Book of Puns were submitted by Frog. We're probably going to do one of those two. So, Frog, which one would you rather see?
What's your heart tell you, Frog?
Or are you just in with both? We got one vote for the Big Daddy Puns Book of Witty Responses. No, we're not also making the fork.
The spoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Max was the tea thermos. My mistake. Very well. In that case, we'll do this, then the tea thermos. And then, or maybe the rad rod, one or the other. We'll figure it out.
Or maybe this, and then it consumes us, and we're done.
This could be a long one. Let's find out.
Yes.
I apologize. No, we're not making the spoon and the knife and.
The spoon and the knife do the same thing as the fork.
Oh, I'm sorry. V Bunny, can you repaste your cheese? Actually, let me look up so I can find the cheeseburger real, just so I can add it to the list.
Yum,
I did miss it.
cheeseburger, cheeseburger.
I will take your cheeseburger. I will add it up in the top here, V Bunny. I apologize. Cheeseburger Oten. So let me get the notes here we have for Big Daddy Book of Puns. And Shazam. We're in, guys. We're in for Big Daddy Book of Puns. All right, so what's this going to do?
I think Tasha's hideous laughter is involved in the pun book.
Let's think. What do we want this to do? Do we want it to just be a bunch of spells? Do we want this to be a spell casting focus, i.e. a tome, that also has some spells attached? I think this would work pretty well, right? As a just a book that has a couple charges. I mean, a very straightforward item. And there's some really cool spells to put on there, right? Like Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Or, I know one of the things Frog was saying, which I thought was actually really cool, is being able to cast certain cantrips as reaction. And maybe if that uses a charge, right? You can use a charge cast a Vicious Mockery as a reaction when something happens. As a unique feature could be cool.
That's an interesting mechanic. Are we thinking about giving them spells and then saying the spells could be used as a reaction, or using this as a thing where you can do spells as a reaction?
No, I was just thinking that like we give the book a couple spells, and then one or two of the spells specifically you can spend extra charges to use as reaction. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Sure.
But I just think that's cool.
That's a fun direction.
Yeah, and it gives it a little more uniqueness than simply you can cast spells with charge. I'm just going to copy this right here. We have I went down to the very bottom where we have our kind of examples.
This should let you do synaptic static. Jesus.
So this joke box has how many charges? 3 charges?
Sounds great to me. I like that low number.
Okay.
I'm picturing this as a fairly low level item. I don't know if you're on that.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, actually, I copied the wrong thing because we're gonna have a couple spells on here, huh? Okay. Let me copy the wrong text up. So this joke book, right, has, we'll say maybe like 5 charges, and maybe we'll come back and reduce that. We'll see what ends up.
5 is fine. I'd rather not do the big 7 one or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not for D&D time, at least. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one or more of its charges to cast one following spell from it using your spell save DC and spell casting ability modifier. So the first thing we have to note here, it has to be required to by a spellcaster. Right, we can't just say anyone now because it uses your stuff. I think that's okay.
So these are responses.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter is pretty good.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter is pretty good. No, I think I don't know. I feel like if we're doing witty responses, we want to do stuff that makes sense to use as a reaction, because I feel like it's weird to cast like a debuff as a reaction. And
Yeah,
also, like, we have to establish what we're reacting to. So, how would you feel about doing if the reaction system is
so if we want these to all be reactions, let's just start with this, right? While holding it, right? What causes the reaction? What's the trigger?
And since these are witty responses, it would make sense to me if there was a little bit of a give and take. So what if we do a few spells on simple damage types, where when you get hit with a damage type, you can respond with that damage type in kind? Or maybe there's a better way of
Ooh.
doing that, but um, I guess my first concern is things that deal fire damage are a lot of the times going to be immune to that anyway, so it doesn't have much
Yeah,
impact.
plus we're getting really complicated with that. I think we
Um,
can just say when
when
you
you are
or an ally you can see, right, is attacked or is targeted by an attack. And I think we just say an attack instead of attack or spell.
you can use an action to expend more to cast one
Or a
of the following.
reaction. To cast one or more of the following. Targeted by an attack, you can use a reaction to expend one or more of its charges to cast one of the following spells from it using spell save DC and spell cast. And so what we do here, right, is because it's a reaction, we'll just up all the charges. Where Vicious Mockery is a cantrip and would normally be 0 charges, it'll be 1. And a level 1 spell, like I think someone in chat said Cause Fear. I think maybe that's Psychopath.
This is very powerful.
It's super potent, yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just this is going to get ranked very highly. Like the ability to,
and maybe we turn that back down to 3 charges, right? If we're gonna do it that way.
Yeah, I think so as well. Probably other, you know, when I think of witty responses, if this is kind of like him making jokes, things that deal psychic damage come to mind. Tasha's hideous laughter. Maybe we bring that back.
Did we just put counterspell on there? No, we don't.
We could do.
Actually, no. I think target right attack or spell, and then we put counterspell on there as a third option. I think that's cool.
Does, for example, so Vicious Mockery would then in turn, you would Vicious Mock in response to the spell, and then potentially grant disadvantage on the attack in addition to dealing the extra damage as it was coming in.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would be the Vicious Mockery option. That was very potent. Oh yeah. This makes this a very good item, and why it's tournament, right? This would probably be a 3 charge rare item, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
The difference is, I think Cause Fear might be a bit off. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
See what the chat's saying right now. We got.
I'm okay with since this is already such a unique item. I don't even know if we need more than one spell on it. I think even just letting you Vicious Mock as a reaction is like a potent enough effect that like that could be the whole item and it would still be that good.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
Especially like the way it scales very well in the late game with Vicious Mockery, because it's a cantrip.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be very, very good. I'm just trying to think: are there any other really good level 1 abilities that do like some sort of maybe damaging or debuffing effect?
I mean, there's Dissonant Whispers is the kind of like, the psychic damage, the go-to for psychic damage.
Oh, that would.
There's
pretty
Shocking Grasp, which you could, play off as a hand buzzer, but that requires kind of a.
I got one. Healing Word. What if you can heal your ally?
As a reaction before they get hit.
Yeah. Because it doesn't say targeting the creature.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it doesn't.
It's a little off, but like
I don't think it's like a problem with the thing. It doesn't necessarily like scream like witty response to me, but I don't think like mechanically. I think it would be like interesting.
What do you guys think, Chad? I think Pete was right with Tasha's hideous laughter being kind of the only other real one. Bane, yeah, Bane's another very good option. Psychopath, I'm seeing it. Oh, hello, Raventail. It's good to see you.
Hi.
Reflect tonight, heading to work. Bless y'all. Bless you as well, Lance. Have a great time. May Salune watch over your shift. Yeah.
I don't know. I it might be worth just going back to just Vicious Mockery.
Yeah,
since
I think
this is already such
fine.
a.
I kind of want to keep the counterspell on there, personally, but we could just have it be Vicious Mockery.
If you have your heart set on counterspell, then let's keep it.
I just like it as like an all 3 charges, because against a spellcaster, this item doesn't do anything. You know what I mean?
You can. Does Vicious Mockery only apply to melee attacks?
It's attacks, not like there are so few spell attacks in the game,
Yeah, okay.
and they're all very low level.
Yeah, it's possible. It just doesn't affect the thing. I'm fine with it having counterspell on it, I think.
Yeah, and it's all 3 charges, so obviously this item's main power is in the Vicious Mocker, hands down.
Yeah, 1 counterspell a day is not completely unreasonable.
Yeah, and I think that makes a pretty good rare item.
Gives a little bit more flexibility. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Do we want to say spellcaster, or do we want to say bard? I kind of want to say bard here.
I as much as that makes perfect sense for a bard, and it's better on a bard, just so that, just for the sake of the bag.
I guess.
Jeremy,
win this round, Pete.
If you have your heart set on bard, I'm not going to stop you. But
no, it's okay. All right, so we got Big Daddy Bun's Book O Witty Response.
Which means we probably have time for one more.
Yeah, one more. I know Lance just took off, so we probably shouldn't do the Rad Rod since he's not actually here.
That makes sense.
Sorry, Lance. So let's see. Oh, I love that frog. Counterspell. Oh my, what was that? Absolutely nothing! It's good. It's not a pun, though.
You gotta work up to the puns. The puns are like the very, very high level. Once you've read the whole book, you'll be able to do puns.
It's a guidebook. I just want to add that to the very end. In addition, reading this entire book will teach you good. Actually, no. Never mind. Anyway, so our 3 items to choose from here were submitted by, I think it was Max, V Bunny, and it's just 2 because 1 is just a blank item.
I want to build the item, actually.
Item. So, do we want to be Bartholomew's Lunch, the Magic Tea Thermos? I think that's a cool thing. It's neat.
Yeah, I like the idea of it.
Or the Cheeseburger O Destiny. When you eat it, it allows you to roll a d20 and use that roll in the same way divination. Oh, okay. It's a cheeseburger that you can eat to gain
knowledge about your destiny.
That's kind of interesting too.
I mean, I'm down for either one of these. I think we have 12 minutes left, and the Cheeseburger Destiny seems really quick.
I was gonna say, I think we can hit both of these.
You think we can get them both? Oh,
I think so, Pete. Cheeseburger, Destiny. Putting it in here. Bada boom, we're making this super fast. Get that divination up here, Pete.
You got it.
The cheeseburger. And I think I want to put dashes in between the O's.
How big of an effect is portent?
Why are your points not? Oh, you need the S at the end, frog. I mean, not frog. Psychopath. Points. Well, oh my God, plunder, my boyo. I didn't even see you there, bud. How's it going? We haven't done the T yet, Max. We're gonna do that right after this. We got the Cheeseburger Destiny. We're gonna make that. We want to make that uncommon consumable.
Bartholomew's Lunch.
This voucher. I'm sorry. This set. This coupon book contains free it contains vouchers for 10 free cheeseburgers from famed Central City fast food joint McMoosan. So there's now a restaurant called McMoose Antlers in Central City, guys. When you receive it, 1d4 or 1d6 vouchers have already been used.
I love those little caveats. It's a masterpiece.
Okay. So during a long rest. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that we can cut out a big chunk of this here. But go ahead.
I was going to say, during downtime, you may expend 1 voucher to purchase and consume a cheeseburger Destiny. when you do so, for the next 7 or we'll say whatever, for the next 7 days, or until you for the next 7 days, you something. You want to say for the next? I'm trying to think of like a way to say it that's not just on your next adventure. We want to just say on your next adventure.
Probably. For one thing, when you do so, you want to say probably roll a d20.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if we need to say. I think on your next adventure is fine, but you can. We could probably just say like just the next. You just have it until you use it, because you can't stack them anyway. By the way that it works. So once you've rolled it, you just have it.
Cool.
Roll
roll 1d20 and record the number rolled.
And then that
you can replace any attack roll, saving throw, ability check made by you or a creature that you can see with this foretelling roll. You must choose to do so before the roll, and you can replace any roll. The next part.
You just need. You must do this before the roll.
Yep. And I think we can just say. I think we should have something in here that says so you can't just say like, "Yep, I ate 7 cheeseburgers before this adventure." You know.
You may. It would just probably be like. You may only have one number recorded in this way at a time. So the idea would be that if you did that, you could re-roll and just eat a bunch of cheeseburgers to get a different destiny every time, if you really wanted to get a specific number. But it wouldn't, wouldn't give you too much.
So
benefit.
Instead of during downtime, we can just say, as an action, right? You may expend 1 voucher to magically purchase.
Magically, of course, you do it magically, and then it's all
done. All right. When you do so, roll a d20, record number. You may only benefit from a cheeseburger. Oh, destiny. Oh, data, you idiot. Once per day. Right. Or you may only. Do you even want to say that? I kind of like the idea of now that we made it an action, like mid-combat, just eat the cheeseburger. You're really fishing.
I think I think the way to do that is just to specify you may only record 1 roll in this way at a time.
Okay, yeah, you may only have 1 roll recorded in this way. 1 roll recorded in this way. Cool. And we'll just call that good. The one question I do have on that is that's no longer an uncommon item. It's not an uncommon consumable at up to 10 cheeseburgers. It's actually up to 9. You can't have 10 because there's always at least 1 gone.
Yeah.
How would you feel if we just say it's 8 cheeseburgers and 1d4?
Fine by me.
And we'll just call that uncommon.
Yep.
Cool. Radical. Cheeseburgers.
We like to err on the side of
a little OP
when it comes to consumables, because they're consumables.
All right, let's see what we can get with this Bartholomew's Magic Tea Thermos. Since Max is here, and he's feeling it. Oh, you already have it. Damn, Pete, you're way ahead of me.
Wow, this is the first time that's ever been said about me getting things up on the screen.
Whoa! I think first we take the lunch part out of there, because Bartholomew's lunch is a thing in the back.
Yes, it is.
So we'll just have Bartholomew's Magic
Tea Thermos.
We'll call it that. Peter was actually off of time because we're in different places in latency.
But it was perfect for me, which means
shit.
You do owe me a Coke in some weird alternate dimension, probably.
The magic tea is actually whiskey. Oh,
that's the magic. That's the magic. That's so good.
Okay, so you know what? Max is saying
Trash tier
it's a trash
consumable.
consumable, restores 5 hit points, and has some tiny benefit. I like the idea that maybe we pick like 3 different teas, and they have super dumb little things. So green tea, oolong tea, and like I don't know, chamomile tea or something.
Herbal.
Herbal tea. Okay, so I'm gonna put those in my notes.
I feel like we need black, green, and herbal are the 3
Okay.
quintessential teas. But that's not as fun to say
Cool.
as oolong, chamomile, and
Uh,
it's more fun to say oolong, chamomile, and green.
I think we can just say I think if we got rid of the black tea with oolong tea. How do you spell oolong? Holy shit.
I think
Guys,
you got it right. I would have guessed the way that you spelled it, ooh, and then long.
oh my god, I spelled it correctly.
Yeah.
I'm a god.
That is the world's most powerful god. The god with the power to spell oolong.
Oh, all right, Fluffy, you got it right there. I like this. Yeah. So we just say, Satan81, thank you for following, bud.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate your support and for being here. Hopefully having a good time. I like this. So this simple. What color is Bartholomew's magic tea? Like blue.
Yeah,
this blue and silver thermos.
Contains
is cold to the touch, or is it cold or hot to the touch?
I was gonna say this simple blue and silver thermos.
I'm sorry.
Contains whatever tea Bartholomew is in the mood to drink.
Contains whatever tea Bartholomew's in the mood to drink. Yep. Is in the mood to drink. And I like you don't get to choose which tea's in it. It's just like I want to drink it. Which tea's in it today? As an action, because interesting thing is saying as an action, right? Because potions are bonus
in
right?
DnDTime
for us. So as a bonus action,
I think we just don't even need to specify. I think you just say you can drink from the thermos.
I think we got to say as a bonus action, unless you want it to have no action. It's not just a potion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm on the fence, but it can't hurt to have that extra clarity on there.
Yeah. Right. Because I just don't want someone being concerned or thinking one thing and then actually getting up. So they regain hit points. Additionally, based on the type of tea within, you gain another or an additional benefit. And then we can just say oolong. What does oolong do?
I mean, green tea removes the poison condition, right?
Oh yeah. So I'm sorry. Additionally, you got to roll 1d3. So roll 1d3 to determine the type of. Because you don't get to pick. It's just whatever Bartholomew's in the mood for that day. And is does this refresh every day? I think this would be a cool item.
I think you just roll it when you drink it.
Okay, so it is consumed.
Yeah, but that probably has a number of times. Oh wait. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the question. Is it consumable or does it?
Health pot every day is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty good uncommon item, I think.
I don't mind that it's good.
I mean, I'm cool with just calling that a good uncommon item.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just say once used, The thermos does not refill until the next dawn. And I think we say for herbal tea, I just like the idea that you regain additional 2d4 hit points. That's something Fluffy was saying, right? It treats it like a greater healing potion. I think that's kind of cool.
Fine by me there. 2d4. If we're not picking, then the poison condition, as much as it's flavorful for green tea, is probably wrong.
I don't know. I think that's cool.
I mean, you have to be poisoned, and then
you gain the effects of lesser restoration.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I like the idea, right, of this being a gamble. You don't know what type of tea it is until you use it.
Hopefully I rolled a 2. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I think that's cool. I think that's a cool tactical aspect. Right?
And then oolong. I don't know anything about oolong.
What does oolong
maybe for the oolong you gain the extra hit points, and then for herbal tea, something to do with putting you to sleep and making it easier for you to rest. It's very relaxing.
What is oolong tea used for?
Oolong could give you haste for 2 rounds. It's probably a bit much for this.
Partially fermented black tea.
Oh, so it's like but caffeine. Thunder was kind of getting at there.
Oh, I see. How potent do we want this to be?
I don't think
it's like an action surge. Pretty potent.
Yeah, that is pretty potent. I mean, I was thinking of something simpler, but I'd rather just have the action surge because it's, but it's every day. Oh, wait, how about temporary hit points?
Yeah, that was what Fluffy actually was saying too.
Makes you feel strong.
Oh wait, dude, just your movement speed increases by whatever.
Yeah, that's good
for the next minute. Your movement, because I want this to be like a level 1 or 2 spell, right? Because that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, what we're looking at here. Like an expeditious retreat. You could take the dash bonus action.
Herbal tea is like a level 2 healing word. Lesser restoration is a
level 2 spell.
Yeah.
Expeditious retreat if you tacked it on. But that's a first level spell, but it's still a pretty good one.
So yeah, your movement speed increases by, and maybe we say 20 feet.
Sure.
For the next. I think that's cool. Just a nice little like if it scaled, that would be how probably. And I think 20 is enough to feel impactful, unlike 10 can sometimes feel a little underwhelming. Yeah, I like this a lot.
I agree. I think that's a pretty cool little item.
Max, your tea isn't garbage. I'm sorry.
You wanted to make your tea very bad, but this tea is pretty good.
Yeah, this tea's pretty rad. I think anyone would be happy to get this tea out of it.
Yeah, I think that's actually probably gonna do it for us. That's the last one we had to go through today.
We hit them all, which we've never done before.
Yes,
good work.
Also, usually there's, to be fair, Jeremy.
Oh wait, usually we didn't quite finish because the monkey's paw.
Oh, the monkey's paw didn't get done. Oh, there's also Lance's.
Oh right, that's fine.
So I mean,
stop drilling holes in my dreams.
Regardless, that's probably going to do it tonight for us for DnDTime Brews. And by probably, I mean that's going to do it for us. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching and hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun building these items with you and doing all the stuff we did.
Yeah, it always is. It's a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for some more brews coming up in the future. We may have to dip our toes into spells at some point, or perhaps even brave another subclass, which would be it's always terrifying going into a subclass because they're so hard. But we may do that again. Psychopath X signups are open, right? I believe the answer to that is yes.
If you want to sign up to play, you can do that right now on our website.
Mr. Signups are open every day except Thursdays.
Oh, wait a minute. Why is their text still there? All right. For some reason, there's the text saying that they aren't open. That's a lie because you can just sign up right away. Oh,
don't let Pete and Jeremy's. I'm sorry. Don't let DnDTime.stream deceive you.
yeah, guys, don't read what we say. Just do it.
Just do what you feel. Actually, never mind. I take that back. Read what we say. There's a lot of important information on that website. Again, thank you all very much. We appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us. Any announcements? Tune in for the next thing on Wednesday, which is going to be DnDTime Talks, where Jeremy and I will discuss something. I could not possibly say what that is because I don't know yet.
Shrug emoji.
All
Anyway,
right.
and of course, next Sunday is our episode 1 of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's gonna be awesome. Check it out.
Absolutely.
I'm really, really excited to actually start that.
And then Friday is Pete and Jeremy's D&D time. And
which always great. We always go like
watch that
totally
show.
out of order. Wednesday, Sunday, Friday. Anyway, thanks
the old
everybody.
1, 3, 2. I'm Pete.
I'm Jeremy, and this is DnDTime Brews.
I said put D&D time.
No.
Good
Good night, everybody.